Growing up on Saturdays, my mom used to make for us crepes and with strawberries and whipped cream. And unlike normal people, I really like the strawberries that came like frozen and then you defrost them, so they had this wonderful like ooey gooey strawberry sauce. And I think that I would have probably like 8 to 12 crepes every time. And I was like an 8-year-old eating like 8 crepes. It was so much food. And I would get a food coma afterwards. It was just delicious. And I guess the recipe came from like my great-great-grandmother or some ancestor who lived in northern Italy in the town of Courmayeur. And I mean, I don't really know anything about the family, but it was really cool to go through that town in Italy and to say like, wow, this is, you know, where my ancestors lived. And they used to, my one grandfather had a cleft foot, and I guess somehow the cleft foot like helped him grab onto the Alps more so that he would lead climbing expeditions in the Alps. And so I guess that's what he did. Oh my gosh, this caramel is so good. My mom used to make caramel and put it in chocolates, but not as good as this. But it does remind me of going to apple picking at the orchard. Every year it was the highlight of fall, and we would buy the billion apples that we would pick. And my brother would always climb up the trees, and I would, you know, go lower to the ground to try and get the good apples that way. And then we would get cider donuts with warm cider, and the freshly baked cider donuts with the warm cider is just, that is quintessential fall for me, and it is wonderful. And this caramel, oh my gosh, so good. I say caramel, not caramel. Even though my name is Karis, you would think that I would go for the caramel. Nope, definitely caramel.
So food makes me insanely happy. I mean, my entire childhood basically was shaped around food. Every time there was a family conflict or something, around the dinner table, it was never there. And I mean, it shaped a major part of who I am because of all the spices, the curries, the rice. Like, I'm Indian, and food is family, it's tradition. And like this questionnaire like evoked so many memories, especially with just like what are some of the ingredients I love. Like, I'll say like I love paprika, mustard oil, and curry powder, and all of this because they remind me of home. There's something warm and wonderful about spice and like saltiness and like Indian sweets and everything. And in my kitchen, like when I grew up, was really tiny, but that didn't matter because the stuff that came out of that kitchen was amazing. So, and my mom like always talks about like when she was a kid, like what she would eat in India as a child on the streets and stuff. Like, you know, like there'd be like little vendors and stuff, and like what her mom would cook. And like it's amazing to hear one generation's experience of food, and then for me as a younger generation to experience it and maybe pass it down to the future generations and talk about my mom's experiences and her mom's experiences. And it's really nice. And yeah, food is the best remedy for everything. And it's made me who I am now. If we are what we eat, I'm curry. So yeah.
Hi. My food memory is, I have like a few. Like, at home, my parents usually make me make some kind of food, and usually it's rice. So I make a simple rice, and then it's pretty good, surprisingly. Like, she would say it's better than her own cooking, my mother. And then my mother would also make the cooking herself, which goes with the rice, and then combined, like she'd make a pork chop or something, and combined it's rather delicious. And then there's also like times at Commons, like I have a bad day, and I'm like, you know what would really be nice right now? Feta cheese. And then I look. This happened yesterday actually. I was like, I'm having a bad day. I wish they had some feta cheese. And then I looked, and there was feta cheese, and I was like, oh my god, it's feta cheese. And my day was infinitely times better. Totally. It's like just the fact of having feta cheese, that little bit made it so much better. And that's it, I guess. See ya.
Alright, so first of all, it was really good. Some of the memories I had were probably the first was the bread with the honey. It was just really healthy, really hearty. It reminded me of this bread maker that my family got when I was really young, and it just kind of like stuck around in the basement all throughout my life, and it would only come out like once or twice a year because no one really knew how to use it. I think the directions were long since thrown away, and so we like once or twice, 3 times a year, we'd have this really hearty bread. So that kind of brought me back to that. The tofu definitely reminded me of my aunt. She's from Taiwan, so every time I went over to her house for dinner, she'd just make an amazing feast of Asian food, and so that brought me back to that. What else? What am I forgetting? Oh, sorry, the apples and the honey. That was something that my sister and I would always eat. She's 1 year older than me, so we were kind of always like buddy throughout. And that would be like a common snack for us. And it was funny, like now I realize that my mom would always try to push these really healthy foods on us. So while we were eating apples and putting peanut butter, thinking that was like a sweet treat, other people were eating fruit roll-ups or Dunkaroos, and so it was just kind of funny, like kind of learn to like some things, and I guess that happens a lot with me. I don't know. I think I'm up on time. All right, thanks a lot. Bye. What do I mean by like people? Some foods get pushed on me because I'm not always the ones making it. So whatever they like, I kind of enjoy myself. All right, thanks. Oh, geez.
What the tomato soup brought memories to me because the first time I had tomato soup was when I was babysitting, and I babysat at dinner time, so the mother prepared tomato soup and grilled cheese. It was my first time having tomato soup, which is ironic because my family's Italian. You would have thought that I would have had plain tomato soup before, but I just had like tomato sauce with everything. Else like pasta and chicken. But so this tomato soup brought me back to when I would babysit, and that family became really important to me in my life. We bonded a lot, and so it's a good memory, and I'll always remember the first time I had tomato soup because I did it to be polite. And I did enjoy it. And this one was really good because it was very thick. It was not watery. So it was definitely a good time today and a good memory back then.